Do you think that the knowing that I can have it all, or the knowing that there are no limitations, do you think it slows down your desire to focus or speeds up your desire to focus? We want to say to you, if you're on that high-flying disc, it speeds up your desire to focus. Okay. Because you just can't have that sort of energy, the energy that creates worlds coursing through you without the feeling of wanting to apply. In fact, it can't course through you unless you have been projecting it. So you've projected it right into that vortex, and that vortex is still spinning. And when you get in vibrational concert with that vortex, then it's the most natural thing in the world to project it. Yes? Mm-hmm. You following that? So you don't have to redefine every single thing that you want, because you defined it and defined it and defined it, and the vortex has been bringing it together and bringing all the cooperative components together. And there has been, hear this, there has been an evolution of your own personal desire in the vortex without your attention to it. What about that?
Yeah.
You put all the pieces of the recipe in there, and your vortex baked a really good cake. In other words, you've been putting it in, you've been putting it in, you've been putting it in, you've been putting it in. So there is something for you yet to discover in your own vortex. What about that? Yeah. What about that? You had no idea what you put there or how good it is. Because right along with all of that fantastic stuff you also wanted freedom. You also wanted lightheartedness. In other words, you wanted all that stuff, but you didn't want a feeling of responsibility with it. You wanted all that stuff, but you wanted it to flow with ease, with the energy that creates worlds, you see. As easy as breathing in and out and in and out. This conversation has gone to new depths and breadths and levels that we have not been before. Are you feeling it? That's why we say, get on the high-flying disc and it takes care of everything. But when you get on the high-flying disc, you won't be without thought. You will be filled with inspiration. And the inspiration is the byproduct, someone used that word earlier today, the byproduct of alignment. And when that byproduct of alignment, which is inspiration, flows, now you're all tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and now objects of attention begin to occur to you that you have formerly put into your vortex, and now you are rediscovering your resonance with them. Right down to coming into vibrational resonance with the intentions that you held when you made the decision to come forth into this body to begin with. Talk about fulfilling one's reason for being. And if we had to put it all into a easily defined statement, we would say, you came for the never-ending fun, the never-ending interest, the never-ending affirmation of your goodness, of your rightness. Yeah. Good place to be, but boring. It takes the specifics to really ring your bells, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You'll get all the money you want. You'll get all the things you want. You'll have all the relationships you want. In other words, there's nothing that is off limits. But there is no limit to what you can ask the universe to flow this energy to. Because your presence in this time-space reality and your sifting and sorting of this contrasting environment has caused you to launch all kinds of rockets that are in your vortex. That when you find alignment with that, you see, and you can't go back. That's one of the things that we really should put on the disclaimer that you sign that lets you know that we're going to be recording and videotaping and possibly live streaming, and is the sort of disclaimer that you sign. We should add to it, and there's one other thing. You can't go back. Once you know this stuff, you can't go back. You'll never feel negative emotion again and not knowing that you're on the grumpy disc. You'll never feel negative emotion again and not understand that that's your point of attraction, that you have done it to yourself. You'll never have a thought that is uncomfortable or a thought that is comfortable without understanding the resonance with who you really are or lack of it, you see. You never again will be confused about how to create your own reality. You'll never be confused again about what's going on with you or what's going on with anyone else. And our desire is that you are never confused again about doing all of your coaching and all of your healing and all of your affirming, all of your deliberate focusing from that high-flying disc. Just get on the disc and then, get on the disc and then, get on the disc and then, get on the disc and then. When you're overwhelmed, doing nothing seems like the perfect atmosphere. Just like when you're really hungry, eating something feels like the perfect atmosphere. So when you've been on a lower disc and efforting, when you first get on that high-flying disc, you feel lighthearted, and it feels like just light and simple is the way you want to be forever. But what you discover is light is the way you want to be forever, but the simple part can become more complex and therefore more satisfying. So it's not about choosing the simplicity of the puppy's happiness or the more complexness of the human's happiness. It's get on the disc, and then what's in your vortex will come. You see. Creatures of all manner, cooperative components of the universe, saying to you, now that you're getting the hang of this, we would like to demonstrate with you the alignment that we feel in you. And then, of course, on your high-flying disc, other humans also on the high-flying disc, appearing in crowds, standing out, walking to you, right timing, saying the right thing at the right time, giving you just a little piece of something that you were wondering about, another little piece of something, rendezvous all day long, leading you to where you want to be, because this is certain. Where you stand and where you want to be is known by all that is. And when you take the time to wake up deliberately, acknowledging the high-flying disc and deliberately staying there and beating the drum of it and practicing it through the day, even if you fall off, you will. Even if you fall off, get on again. Even if you fall off, tomorrow get on. Even if you fall off, tomorrow get on. Until eventually Esther said, Abraham, I refuse to accept that I have to wait until tomorrow to get back on the high-flying disc. You've given me too many tools. I like it on the high-flying disc. I'm going to be on the high-flying disc. I don't care what it takes to be on the high-flying disc. Even if I have to feel good, I'm going to be on the high-flying disc. And after a while, it just becomes such a steady point of attraction that you begin to feel like the invincible creator of your own reality that you are. Because you are the creator of your own vibrational offering. Because you have guidance to let you know. You have guidance to let you know. Your inner being knows everything that you want and knows where you stand in relationship to everything that you want. So Esther is envisioning this pipeline between where she is and everything that she wants. She can just feel that as the path of least resistance, where the cooperative components are just moving to her and she is moving to it. Creation is about rendezvousing, you see. And so as you realize that you have control of that, and as you think more about it, you feel the momentum. Have you ever gotten on a personal rampage, or it works often very well if you find the synergy with another person, where you are just high-flying together, exclaiming your appreciation of something together, just feeding off of one another together. Do you know what we're talking about? And do you ever feel that energy moving through your body? And Esther's begun thinking, oh, that energy moving through my body, I'm feeling it viscerally. I'm actually realizing this energy that's moving from me outward to this is my pipe opening moment. This is my laying new pipe moment. This is me in all of the universe laying pipes to everything that I care about. A Congress that is functioning. Why not? Why not? Religions that are finding their own happy alignment and leaving each other alone. Why not? Children all over the world finding food and safe haven. Why not? Why not send the energy that creates worlds outward from you to all things that you want? All things that you want. Not just your own personal things. That's all a given. So what happens when you get a really good momentum going is that the first thing that happens is you experience the manifestation of emotion. And we want to call emotion a manifestation because does it get any realer than feeling? When you get that feeling, isn't it real? Isn't it up close and personal kind of real? That's a manifestation. It's a manifestation of momentum. And you can tell by the way you feel whether it's momentum leading to something you want or leading to something you don't want. The next thing that happens is thoughts begin to flow. That's the next thing. Now, really what happened is the thought came first and the emotion came second. But we wanted to call the emotion the first awareness of manifestation. We think it will serve you if you realize that when you are feeling an emotion, that it is a demonstration of the beginning of things materializing. Because the emotion has materialized. The next thing that happens is thoughts begin to flow into your mind. Thoughts. thoughts, a stream of thoughts, you're likely to get a really good idea about something. And you'll know it's a really good idea because it feels good when it comes. Now, depending upon what disc you're on and what kind of momentum you're gathering will depend upon how good or how bad the thought feels. The next thing that happens when you're on this high-flying disc is that nature begins playing with you. Nature plays with you. Nature is the first responder beyond your own emotions and thoughts to demonstrate to you where your vibrational frequency is. Any nature ever playing with you? Hummingbirds doing ridiculous loop-to-loops in the gardens? Birds flying, obviously, just for entertaining you? So now we want to say to you that every thought that you offer, whether it's something wanted or not wanted, creates a vibrational version of it that in the beginning does not have enough momentum to actualize into your experience. You've launched a lot of rockets of wanted and unwanted, and some of them have more momentum than others. But how they show up in your experience, how often they come, how steadily they're there, and how they feel when they get there is all about the momentum, which is all about the air time. It's all about the think time. It's all about the talk time. It's all about the attention time. Biggest word, it's all about the focus that you have been giving to them, you see. So that's why we now want to talk to you about your point of attraction, because you have laid the pathways to all kinds of things, wanted and unwanted. The question is, which of those pipelines is wide open and delivering a lot of payload to you, and which of those pipelines is closed and not giving you anything? So we began talking about this point of attraction, reaching for different things to call it. For a while we called it the grid. No one really liked that word, the grid. But the grid is sort of a framework that will be filled in later with the details that you will call real life reality. It's sort of like the frame of the house before you put the roof on, before you put the walls up, before you put the pretty stuff in it. So you're standing in your point of attraction all the time. Now we've evolved this analogy to say to you that this grid is spinning because your point of attraction is gathering cooperative components, meaning gathering the components that equal who you are, and that there is a vibrational spinning grid that you could liken to the emotions on your emotional scale. In other words, there's that high-flying grid that feels like love and passion, eagerness, and there's that low-flying grid that feels like despair, grief, fear, and then there's the overwhelming grid. It occurred to Esther the other day that it's like the 7 dwarfs. There's happy and grumpy, dysfunctional, passive aggressive. We're up to about 200 dwarfs now. But you know which grid you are. You know where you are. If ornery people seem to be everywhere you go, you just kind of got to admit that you're on the ornery disc. And you're having the ornery meeting with those others who have gathered there. We like the analogy. Esther remembers so vividly her first seeing of the streets of San Francisco. She could not believe it. Standing there in real life person at the top of that hill and realizing that cars actually drove down and up those hills. She couldn't believe it. She thought it was madness. Imagine your car's at the top of one of those hills. Your parking brake is off. Your car is out of gear. And just for fun, you decide to teach yourself a lesson about momentum. So you nudge your car from the rear, and then you realize that it's beginning to move, but you catch it in the early stage because you were not really wanting to teach yourself the whole lesson, just a little bit of the lesson, and you step right out in front of the car, and it bumps up against you, and it stops because the momentum was so slight that it did not take much to slow that momentum. But can you imagine what it would be like? Don't try too hard to be at the bottom of that hill, stopping that momentum.